Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, my name is Demigod, Shmurda here, and welcome back to another video, and welcome back to another episode of Arrowverse Analysis. A superhero's secret identity remaining secret, or at the very least keeping it between a small group of people, is one of the CW's favorite things to screw up. Seriously, it's a running gag on The Flash that everyone in Central City knows Barry's secret identity because the writers keep having him tell people that don't need to know for no reason. Arrow's first season hasn't really had that problem so far, with the exception of Huntress, but there wasn't much good about that arc anyway, so we're just not gonna talk about it. With Felicity and, during this batch of episodes, Tommy learning Oliver's secret identity, however, it can be very easy to explore the avenue of that reveal in a way that is unsatisfying. This could be a reveal that, especially for Tommy, has the potential to go south very fast, because the CW so often faces the problem where characters will whine for several episodes after a character finds out another character's been keeping a secret from them. And especially as these types of shows go on, the characters' personal and civilian lives are basically forgotten about, because every new character that gets introduced is on the team, and the superheroics are the most fun thing about the show anyway, so why bother taking away from that? Arrow's first season isn't like that, however. Oliver's civilian life is always full. He's always involved in something during the first season, be it his best friend's birthday, the opening of his club, or just going on a date with a girl he kinda likes. These are the things that the show needs to make us care about in order to make the secret identity reveal have any sort of impact. We need to see the hero enjoy their time not being in the suit in order to make us care about the potential of all of that going away. And yeah, I know the first episode we're watching today doesn't entirely fit that mold, but it officially cements Felicity as a member of the team. It doesn't fit in with any other batch of episodes, and it's not important enough for me to do it by itself, so please just let me have this one. If this is your first episode and you're wondering how my rating system works, there's a detailed description down below along with a link to all my other episodes of Overanalysis. But I encourage you to watch this one first. I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. Sorry about the extended wait for this episode, guys. I went on vacation for a good chunk of a week, then I got the beer bug, so I couldn't get editing as quickly as I wanted to, so this episode got delayed almost 2 weeks. But I'm back now, so we'll be getting into a semi-consistent schedule for this series again soon, hopefully. Also, while I was grabbing screenshots for this episode, I found a little thing to note about episode 5, Damaged. During this shot of Oliver holding Yao Fei's bag of herbs, you can tell he's holding it in his right hand. In the next shot, however, it's in his left hand. Arrow's been really good about attention to detail so far, so I'm surprised this one slipped through the cracks. When I reviewed The Odyssey, I somehow counted Oliver's identity reveal to Felicity as the third one on the identity reveal counter when it was actually the fourth. First was Dig, then Derek Reston, then Helena, which makes Felicity the fourth, so let's go ahead and update that counter. And finally, I constantly look back at my scores for each episode, since I have a spreadsheet containing the scores for the end of the season wrap-up. And as much as I do agree with myself for my past scores, there are 2 episodes that I'm going to give an extra point in characterization, those being Legacies and Trust But Verify. The OG Royal Flesh Gang and Ted Gaynor are probably some of the best villains of the week in the entire Arrowverse, and they each have actual layers, backstories, and thought-out motivations. Not to mention how well they developed Malcolm in that scene where he took Tommy and Laurel to dinner in Trust But Verify. And while I do agree with my points in the past about the RFG family feeling kinda half-baked and Thea initially reacting baselessly, I think these episodes feature truly some of the best characterization of the season. As a result, since I don't give these episodes half points, I am giving both Legacies and Trust But Verify an additional point in characterization, raising them both up to a score of 5. A 5 doesn't necessarily mean perfect. It just means that it stands out more prominently in a positive way. With all that out of the way, Let's return to the overanalysis. Eagle Eggleston returns to direct Arrow's 15th episode, Dodger, which aired on February 20th, 2013. A jewel thief called the Dodger comes from Europe to Starling City looking for new business. Simultaneously, Oliver and Diggle bet each other to ask some girls out on dates that don't end up going well for them.
Jared, you okay? You look a little peaked, man.
Fine, it's, Ms. Hill wants us to move the Sherwood into the vault.
Now it's midday.
That way. I got it like you asked. Here.
You did exactly as I asked, so it's just unconsciousness for you.
Unconscious.
Dodger is played by James Callis. Oh, this is a real character in the comics.
Ken Williams. His pyramid scheme stole millions.
Did you know he's a widowed father of a 10-year-old boy?
I'm just giving him a warning.
Has it ever occurred to you could do some real good in the city, beyond just recovering people's stock portfolios and their saving accounts? I made a mistake.
Getting in my way, I don't disagree.
No. Signing on with you. Even provisionally.
It's infected.
Yao Fei had these super herbs back in the cave that heal anything.
You're not gonna last an hour out there.
I guess you better hope I get back in 45 minutes then.
That's a good line. I might have been a little ahead of that one.
It's the undertaking that I wanted to talk to you about. I want to get out. With Walter, with Robert. Last week, the vigilante nearly made my children orphans. I've reached my limit, Frank. We started this to fix the Glades, Frank. To cure the city, not lay it to waste. You got into this because of what happened to your daughter. What would Amanda want you to do?
And Malcolm's gonna go through with it whether you want to or not, so...
What if her next attack of conscience leads her right to the police?
Oh, she won't say anything. I know. I had to make the same calculation when you found out about me.
And what would you have done if you were wrong? And I decided to make a call to Detective Lance.
I would have put an arrow in you.
Huh.
He's not kidding.
Oh, really? You really would have done that?
I was worked up on adrenaline last night, and I didn't exactly put my best foot forward. I was hoping you'd give me the opportunity to do that now.
How about you start with Ken Williams? Did he also get to enjoy your adrenaline last night?
No, he returned the money that he stole just in time to put his son to bed.
Something I should mention is that typically the first visit from Oliver is actually a warning. Adam Hunt, Martin Summers... Felicity has no reason to be concerned that Oliver is going to change his pattern.
The Dodger operates primarily in Europe.
You know, I heard about this guy. They call him the Dodger because he avoids getting his hands dirty. He uses hostages to do his stealing for him. Puts a bomb collar around their necks.
It's too bad his name's not in your notebook.
You know, not all the people that I target are on the list.
Deadshot, Malcolm, well, the Dark Archer, he doesn't know it's Malcolm yet. Every once in a while, Oliver does make an exception. The bank robbers, the Royal Flush Gang, Count Vertigo.
Clearly you're under the impression that you can have the Sherwood Ruby for a steal.
What about me?
What about you, indeed?
So to catch this guy, we need to either figure out where he is or where he's gonna be.
I may, in fact, regret the Big Belly Burger counter, because there is a lot of it in Arrow Season 1. It was only ever intended to be, like, when it shows up, like, little cameos. Like the takeout bags that they'll have in Flash, or something like that. I may, in fact, regret the Big Belly Burger counter, but you know what? Now we gotta... It's in the universe. We gotta stick with it.
You need me to handle that?
I appreciate it, but I'm a pro by now.
I'll be here if you need me.
Carly was married to Dig's brother, and he passed away.
Looks like she's hot for you.
Ah, can we get back to crime fighting, please?
Actually, Dig, I was thinking you probably should ask her out.
Really? I'll do that just 5 minutes after you ask out McKenna.
Ooh, the detective on the Dodger case.
Why we need to have this dick measuring contest, I couldn't tell you. But it's funny, so I'm going to allow it. And Felicity's so, like, giddy for it, too. It's fun. It's fun. A little harmless fun.
He's targeting a very specific type of jewel. We figure out why, and that'll give us the how to catch him.
You're a crush object with a badge. Why don't I work up a little tech? You distract her with a little flirty flirt. Slip said tech onto her phone. Boop. We'll learn everything she knows.
It's not how I typically get my information.
How do you typically do it?
I find the person, and then I put the fear of God into them until they talk. But we can try your way.
Would you like to have dinner?
How about tonight?
Tonight?
What? We haven't waited long enough?
Hank was my first client. I kept his son from being sent away for a mugging that he didn't commit.
I could have gone to prison too.
He couldn't afford a dream team of super lawyers.
So I'm supposed to feel guilty because I'm lucky enough to have a rich family?
No, you are lucky. And hopefully CNRI will show you that.
Hey!
I completely forgot that this was the freaking episode we meet Roy Harper.
This got snagged as he wilted over the fence. Looks like a chain from his wallet.
Let's have a drink. Not now. Would you maybe? I'll take you for a. Would you like to have dinner with me, McKenna? I don't know if you heard. I was on a deserted island for 5 years, and I'm totally out of practice with this whole.
Well, dinner would be nice. In fact, I can make myself free tonight. Okay.
I'm lingering.
Okay.
Call me a sucker. I like cute little, fun little interactions like that. I really like stuff like that. It's fun seeing Oliver out of his element, too. So, like, in this sort of area. Especially because, like, Oliver doesn't really date. Before the island, he slept around. He doesn't really date in the present day. Because he's still kind of hung up on Laurel. And then there was the whole Helena thing. And we haven't gotten to Felicity yet. So it's like, it's fun seeing Oliver out of his element like that. So it's kind of cool.
A body was found at an art gallery shot point blank. His name is Cass Daranek.
Arrest, possession of stolen goods, arrest, conspiracy, conviction, attempted sale of stolen goods.
This guy's a fence. The Dodger's looking to unload the Sherwood Ruby.
Which means he'll be in the market for a new fence.
So we find the fence and we find the Dodger.
Yeah, he might have been wearing a red hoodie. Kind of Abercrombie looking. You wouldn't happen to have his name. Hey, Laurel, I found the dirtbag. His name is Roy Harper.
You know, Andy set a pretty high bar when it came to first dates. You know, he faced down armed gunmen for a living, but I've never seen him as scared as he was before that first date with you. Oh, Carly, I'm sorry. That wasn't good first date etiquette, was it?
Bring up Andy when we are having a romantic night? Probably not. Can you just please take me home?
And Dig's out of his element, too. Damn.
5 years on an island away from civilization. What did you do? What did you eat? Where'd you sleep? How did you make
I don't want to talk about those experiences, McKenna.
It's work. I gotta go.
Felicity, listen, please. I need you to activate the bug on McKenna's phone. I think the police just got a lead on the Dodger.
SCPD! Grab the floor!
This is a pretty good shootout, actually. Holy crap. Oliver, go after him. You saw the direction he was running. You had to have.
Starling City Cancer Society. It says right there they're holding a fundraising auction tomorrow night. We could lure him out into the open.
With what? A fake?
No. The Dodger clearly has a trained eye for this sort of thing.
Where are we gonna get our hands on a rare Spanish antiquity?
You really have no idea how rich his family is, do you?
Out of nothing but pure curiosity, what happens if I Google this? I didn't find anything. Rich is rich in comic book lore. Rich is rich in television show lore. No one gives a crap how rich a family is.
Look, I don't want to steal. Okay, I don't have any other choice. My mother, she has a problem. She got hooked on vertigo last year.
Let him go. It's just a damn purse, right?
They'll meet with you. It has been arranged.
There's one more thing I need you to do for me. Malcolm's the only one who knows where Walter's being kept. I just need a clue.
I'm getting a good signal from the GPS I put in your family's brooch. I can track it on my phone.
Felicity, get Oliver.
That brooch was donated by the Queen family. If you want it, you're gonna have to bid.
Actually, though, I thought I'd just take it.
Yeah, Oliver, I found the Dodger. He's stealing your family's diamond. He's, like, going this way. I'm, like, right near him. But if Felicity did that, then the rest of the episode couldn't happen.
I think I have a problem.
All right, Tracker's on the move. If I find him, I can get him to disarm it.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a no tampering failsafe on those collars.
He's 1 block from your position. If you cut through Harris Plaza, you'll end up right behind him.
Hey, look at that. He did bring some of his arrow gear. This chase scene lasted give or take a minute and a half. I'd say I just don't like chase scenes, but that's actually not correct. I really liked the chase scene in Hawkeye where it was like, it was all one take in the back of the car and he was deaf, but I don't know, maybe I just don't like chase scenes. Or, alternatively, third option, that one was just lame.
I had the foresight to collar up a particularly inquisitive blonde.
Your median nerve's been severed. You couldn't push that button if you tried.
We could have done that without the monologue, but...
You know, last night all I could think about was how pissed off Andy would be, how hurt he would be if he saw us together. But that's nothing compared to how he would be if I did something to hurt you, Carly. In a war, you act or you die. No time to think, no time to second-guess yourself.
Maybe that's your problem. With me, you're thinking, not feeling.
So I guess you're not pressing charges because you feel like you can change my life? And so you can run and tell your rich prep school friends what a saint you are and how you're helping the disadvantaged?
You don't know a thing about me.
Be a queen. Trust fund brat. Totaled her car, which she got as a birthday present. Loves designer labels and is usually in the tabloids for partying too much. Did I leave anything out?
Dead father, missing stepdad, damaged brother, and almost served jail time for that car accident. Plus, she really wants her purse back.
I do not understand the purse thing.
Don't worry, it's all there. Except for these. You know, it's a really filthy habit you got there. Don't fall for every sob story a guy like me tells the police. You have a great evening now.
Yeah!
McKenna, I didn't just lose 5 years on the island. I lost the part of me that enjoyed being alive. It's the easy things. When you asked me about the island, it reminded me of all the hard things. Make me question who I can trust and even if I'm worthy of being with anyone.
Frank Chen recommended you. He said you could help us with our problem.
Anything for a friend.
Anything for a friend!
Malcolm Merlin, I want you to kill him for me.
Well, that episode just happened. I'm gonna give the plot a 2 here. When I first watched the episode, I thought Dodger tried to steal a new jewel for no reason, but in editing, I noticed that during the shootout scene, he doesn't pick up that briefcase and take it with him in the midst of the shootout. So it would make sense that he'd have to find some new merchandise. I'm glad I paid a little more attention in editing. I do think that while the date subplots were added just to fill time, they do flesh out the characters' personal lives, which I definitely appreciate after the Flash and Stargirl have all but done away with that. Unfortunately, though, that's where the good stuff ends. It seems like the writers had an interesting concept for the episode, but once they realized how strong they just made Oliver by having Slade fucking Wilson train him in the last episode, they had to go get Oliver into the Barry Allen school of letting villains get away. Oliver can run as fast as a motorcycle, so no human criminal should be able to escape him. And then we get into the really bad stuff, like Roy's chain getting caught on that fence. Not only does this shot from the episode clearly show that that didn't happen, so there's another point towards the plot says so card, but Roy's a master of parkour, so much so that Oliver calls him in to do exactly that 6 seasons later, and he gets his chain caught on a fence he jumps? And Thea actually gets a call about who bought that chain? I don't want to seem like I'm overreacting to this, but what? At first, I was confused about why Moira would call China White to have Malcolm killed, but she does ask Frank to get her a clue as to where he might be, so that solves that plot hole. If anything, though, it creates an entirely new one since Frank doesn't ask Malcolm the question, at least not on screen, and his assassination attempt happens next episode. And as for this episode's flashbacks, you could cut them out of the episode and nobody would notice. Apparently the guy in the cave, Alan Duran, was a spy for Fires, but I always thought that he got hired after Oliver left him in the cave. The show didn't spell that out enough, and the guy only shows up one more time anyway, and even when he does show up again, it really doesn't matter that it's him. Characterization is gonna get a 2. Dodger is just a jewel thief with a gimmick. Take that away, and there's nothing special about him. He already makes me miss the days of great one-off villains like the Royal Flush Gang and Ted Gaynor. The stuff with Oliver going on their dates is kind of fun and harmless, but it doesn't really do anything except emphasize how much Diggle cares about his brother and how much of a goody two-shoes McKenna is in the present, which makes her sweet and allows for more cute relationship dialogue, which I love, but doesn't really make her that deep of a character. It takes a special kind of writing to make that kind of character interesting. I will give them points, though, for showing how out of his element Oliver is. That's fun. There's Thea's subplot where she just really wants that purse back that only exists to introduce Roy Harper, a character that I actually really like. So I'm gonna give the episode some points for making him interesting as well. Visuals are gonna get a 2. That motorcycle chase wasn't great, but the episode makes up for it with that sick shootout. Outside of that, though, there isn't much visually interesting. No special sets, no special costumes, no cool new fight scenes from Oliver, nothing like that. Importance, however, is a 4. The introduction of Roy Harper is in this episode, after all, and he's arguably one of the best and most important characters in the entire show. And if you skip this one, yes, you would be lost when he's brought up again. And the stuff with Moira not wanting to be a part of the undertaking anymore and calling China White leaves you on a cliffhanger for the next one. The only reason it's not a 5 is because there's so much filler in the episode that you really don't need to see or care about. And because Dodger is never even brought up again. And I'll give Entertainment a 2. It's a whatever episode in its own right, but imagine watching this on a binge right after the insanity that is The Odyssey. I can imagine you'd be more than a little let down. That gives Dodger a score of 12 out of 25, which I did not expect. I remember liking this episode a lot more when I first saw it, but I guess there was a reason this is one of my least rewatched episodes. Let's see if the next one turns this batch around. Glenn Winter's Arrowverse directorial debut was on February 27th, 2013, with Arrow's 16th episode, Dead to Rights, written by comic book legend Jeff Johns. With contract killers arriving in Starling City, Oliver and company have to deduce their target. Meanwhile, Malcolm extends an olive branch to Tommy in an effort to reconnect with him, but things go south as Deadshot and China White arrive to assassinate Malcolm.
A man's as good as...
Guillermo Barrera, you have failed this city.
I believe Barrera was on the list.
An assassin for hire with an affinity for knives. His name was Guillermo Barrera.
Was?
So we can't ask him about his intended target.
No. Which is why I need you to hack his phone. Barrera's world class. He kills high-profile targets, and whatever job he was hired for isn't finished.
That's broken. It got busted during the crash.
Did you try to get it to work? My father was a pilot, and he used to do his own maintenance.
So you're hoping aircraft maintenance is genetic?
No, I used to help him, and I liked it. So maybe I can make the radio work.
That's convenient. Wait, did that say written by Jeff Johns? Okay. Okay. This episode's in good hands.
Welcome.
Tommy! I missed you!
To the first birthday that I have enjoyed in a long time. Cheers. Cheers.
I think that's the food.
Oh, thank God you didn't cook. Amen.
That joke made me laugh more than Malcolm showing up at the door.
I'm being honored by the Starling City Municipal Group. They're bestowing me with their annual humanitarian award.
Sometimes the people that you want there the most aren't.
I love that they kept at least some of the tattoos on him. The freaking detail is great. And there's his thing.
We won't fail this city.
I'm gonna count that.
Can you get anything off of it?
Just the last number he dialed.
Which was?
A restaurant in Chinatown.
Yeah, Jay Dragon is a front for the Chinese mafia.
I wanted to make sure that your birthday celebration got its due celebration. It was a little bit tense last night.
I'll trust my dad to run all the smiles out of the room.
I know the two of you had never been close, but it couldn't have been easy for him after your mom was killed.
Yeah, I guess he forgot that there were two of us in that club.
With everything I've been through, people that I've lost, I know how hard it can be.
Not only that, but we also had to see Oliver, Moira, and Thea all grieve Robert, that Oliver's father, in their own way, and they're all worried about Walter being missing in their own way too. So I can see the parallel there. I just wish that the writers would draw it and not me. I apologize, Jeff Johns. Please don't make Stargirl Season 3 suck.
But after her funeral, he left for like 2 years. And when he did come back, he was so freaking cold. Your dad took me to my first hockey game. Your dad taught me how to fly fish. Your dad took us to our first R-rated movie.
But it wasn't perfect. My dad made mistakes. But still, I would give anything to have him back, because at the end of the day, your dad is your dad. I gotta hit the restroom.
An accent that I'm assuming he learned from Shadow. I'm assuming Shadow is the one that teaches him Chinese. That's something we don't actually talk about. Either Shadow or Maseo. Probably Shadow. Because I don't think that they planned for the Season 3 flashbacks to take place in Hong Kong. At least not during Season 1. That's convenient.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Wedgetail 325. Pilot and passenger down.
463 Heavy, clear to land runway.
They can't hear us, and we can't call out. We're still trapped.
Oh, there's the blocked phone number.
What?
The Triad have hired a contract killer.
Who's your target?
I'm trying to find out, but hitting dead ends. I need you to put your people on it.
My people don't work for you, and come to think of it, neither do I.
It's not about you and me, detective. It's about saving a life.
Remember this line. When Oliver said, I wanted to. And I liked it. I didn't mention it last episode because I was so checked out of that episode to even notice it, but they gave Kelly Hu a much better wig to play China White this time. I don't know if I'm going to include that scene or not, but if I do, I just want to point out that I appreciate that they're showing Moira's unease in going through with this. I like that over the course of the season, you can actually see, like, the progression of how the club's getting built, too. It's a very minor thing, but something that I just feel like other shows wouldn't pay as much attention to.
Something bothering you? Don't say no, because you're a terrible liar.
Really?
Ah!
I thought I was getting better at it.
What's wrong?
I hate that line, but I hate that line just because of how cliche it is, but It's one of those things that you just, like, you can't help but smile at it, so that's why they do it. Oh, this episode has me so much more engaged than the last one.
Come in.
Yes. Yes, way to go, Felicity Smoke. Remember, the target is Tommy's father.
The award ceremony? Tommy's there.
The target is Malcolm Merlin.
The true humanitarian in the Merlin family was my wife, Rebecca. I like to think that if the man who murdered her knew her,
He's so blunt, dude!
he would have helped her to her car, made sure she was safe, instead of stealing her purse and shooting her. The truth is, I haven't done enough for this city. My city. I failed it. But I promise you, I am not finished yet. I promise you that this city will be better for all of us. And on that day, I will look at this beautiful award and feel that I have earned it.
It's such a good speech, honestly. Damn.
Tommy.
The one thought on his mind is Tommy.
Merlin's not taking the bait. Drive him upstairs to his penthouse office. I'll need to switch vantage points.
There's an exit on the second floor. I wasn't leaving until I knew you were safe.
He grunted.
Go somewhere safe, I'll hold them off.
We need to get out of here. Tommy, take a deep breath and trust me. Upstairs, my office is a panic room. We get there, we seal it off.
If this were a slightly different situation, Malcolm and Tommy could just jump out a window and be fine. I mean, they'd be a little bruised, but they'd be fine. But, because Lawton's out there, they can't do that. But the thing is, Malcolm doesn't know that. Although, again, he is just worried about keeping Tommy safe. And there are people patrolling the entire building, so... But, again, that's like author knowledge, that's not character knowledge, so... mixed.
Why do you want Malcolm Merlin dead?
I'll settle for you.
I wonder if we'll see her stunt double this time. Oh, damn. There are so many cuts!
Electromagnetic locks. What if they cut the power? This floor is on an entire separate grid. The glass? Lexan, bulletproof.
How did you know how to do that?
What?
Fight.
So the glass is bulletproof, but it ain't explosion proof. Oh, it's playing his theme! Why doesn't Tommy at least look in there? Come on. Oh, because it closes. But Tommy would see the suit. Come on!
Freeze! SCPD!
I'm okay.
Bulletproof vest, motherfuckers. And guess what? China White got away too.
I'll be fine.
No, Dad! Dad! No.
It's Curari. Your father's been poisoned. An assassin named Floyd Lawton laces his bullets with Curari. I've dealt with this before. We need to dilute the poison in his bloodstream.
I said stay the hell back!
Fresh blood buys him time to get to the hospital.
Why should I trust you?
Identity reveal counter. Of course, Oliver just knows how to do this.
Ready? Do it.
I don't like needles.
You're the vigilante. Later. Thank you.
Look at that. Look at that. Not only did they not have an entire conversation about it in the moment, but Tommy's not chewing him out for it immediately, for not telling him. They only went halfway into the CW-ness of this. And it works. It actually works. Kind of. It works here Because the why should I trust you thing isn't a pattern in this universe yet. That's why I'm not going to be as harsh on this as I could.
First, the Hood rescues you and Queen from those kidnappers. Now he saves your old man. But he's taking down every other 1%er out there. Is this guy a friend of yours, Merlin?
I don't know who the hell he is.
But I don't know who the hell he is hits different after the identity reveal.
You still might have done us some good.
500 hours from my mark. Final deployment is 5 by 5.
Fires! I've tuned into the soldier's frequency.
Scylla is en route.
Who or what is Scylla?
The Scylla in Charybdis. It's the Odyssey from one of the 4 Nightmare chapters. Scylla was a monster.
I want to meet this monster.
I keep forgetting to talk about that knife. Maybe I'll do it one of these episodes.
He's not in the hospital because he was shot. He was poisoned by Curari.
Lawton's alive.
I'm sorry, John.
With Oliver now realizing that he didn't kill Lawton with the shot to the eye, imagine how stupid he must feel when Slade shows back up in season 2. I wish that they talked about that in this moment, but I don't think they planned that far ahead necessarily at this point in it. I don't want to spend like 3 days there and only have like 1, maybe 2 days of stuff planned. Okay. Okay. Would you like to try our new mango fruit blast? I might put this part in the video.
A Russian-made S-300 anti-aircraft missile launcher. It can simultaneously track up to 100 targets, whilst engaging at least a dozen.
I'm really sorry that I had to run out on you like that.
Don't worry. 5 more minutes and I would have had to run out on you.
Not only does she not hold it against Oliver, she acknowledges that she would have had to do the exact same thing. I don't necessarily know where I get the idea the walking out on people is like I mean, yeah, it's not cool, but I don't know where I get the idea that it's a trope. But if it is a trope, I'd like to point out, Arrow Season 1 breaks it by just having the characters respect each other and not hold things against each other. That's the real trope here, is the holding things against each other things. Because again, if this were The Flash, or if this were Supergirl, this would be an argument that goes on for like 7 episodes.
I gave you a blood transfusion. Actually, it was the Vigilante's idea. He saved you. He did?
After you tried to kill him. Not that he knows that, but...
I wasn't a very good father to you after your mother passed away. You never told me where you went.
I found myself in a place called Nanda Parbat.
Oh, they did plan it! Well, not exactly it, but...
I met a man there.
He helped me to find a purpose for my life. To make this city a better place for everyone.
I'd like to point out, and I'm 100% sure this was done on accident, Malcolm leveling the Glades with the earthquake machine technically falls in line with the prophecy from season 3 that you have to destroy your home in order to become Ra's al Ghul. I'm just saying!
Malcolm.
Could I talk to Moira for a minute? We have a traitor in our midst. I want you to find out who.
My dad's gonna be okay, thanks to you. I saw you kill those guys who kidnapped us when you first got back, didn't I? I know you have a lot of questions. Yeah. Are you ever gonna tell me? No.
I can understand a colossal secret being kept from you. As, like, I can understand how that would upset you. But in the context of something like this, in the context of, hey, by the way, I'm a vigilante and I can't tell you my secret identity because then, you know, there's always the chance that you might slip up. You're only human. There's always the chance I might slip up. I'm only human. In the context of that, I completely understand why Oliver didn't say shit. It always pisses me off when frickin' 8 seasons into The Flash, fucking Chillblaine, fucking Walmart Captain Cold, not even Walmart, fucking dollar store Captain Cold finds out Barry's the Flash. And now a literal known criminal has to keep his secret. Because there's no reason, really, for anyone to need to know. The biggest, most egregious example of this is actually Superman and Lois Season 2. Thought that I took a pot shot at him last episode. I'm taking a pot shot at him again now. Lana and Sarah should not fucking know Clark's secret identity. So screw you guys. But in all seriousness, Oliver only ever tells, like, Dig because he wants to have a partner, and Felicity because he needed her to save his life. And now Tommy because he needed to save his dad's life, and Tommy had a gun on him, and Oliver's suit isn't bulletproof. Even then, that one kind of makes sense to me. Oliver's trying to save an innocent life. Well, not innocent, to what he knows innocent. Or at least the life of his best friend's dad. Tommy wasn't going to let him do it, so Oliver did the only thing that he could think of. See, it's not entirely stupid. They at least thought about it a little bit. But I'm still completely, like, I really don't understand why Tommy takes it so personally. It literally wasn't personal. Oliver didn't tell his mom or his sister either. Did I get the episode order wrong? I didn't think I was watching this one next.
It's about Sarah. I think she may be alive.
Well, yeah, she is, but not really. We couldn't get the actress. We couldn't get the actress back. And Katie Lotz is better anyway. There we go. That was a much better episode. I personally feel this is one of the stronger plots from the season so far, but I can still only give it a 3. It stumbles a little bit at the end, but they handle Oliver's identity reveal to Tommy better than other shows have handled the identity reveal. When the superhero's identity is revealed, the typical response you get is one of two things. You either get, "Awesome, you're a superhero!" Or you get, "You lied to me, I can never trust you again." This episode puts the reveal somewhere in the middle of those two extremes, and I think the episode is only better for it. It feels like a much more human reaction, not to mention the situation involving the reveal basically requires it, and the next episode all but resolves the whole thing without going to the worst possible outcome where Tommy whines for half a season, which I appreciate a lot. Oliver just so happens to have done a bunch of aircraft maintenance with his dad, and that somehow translates to fixing that radio. Now, I gave the writers a little slack in The Odyssey, because even though Oliver just so happening to have read The Odyssey was super convenient, it was also a perfect execution of Chekhov's gun. In this episode, however, Oliver pulls a random skill out of his ass that he never even mentions again. And when Oliver finds out that Deadshot is still alive, I really wish that it tied into what he did to Slade somehow. Missed opportunity there, though obviously I don't think they planned that far ahead at this point. I almost feel a little too inclined to give this episode a 5 in characterization. Whether it's Moira looking over to Tommy and realizing he might be about to watch his father die, giving her a sense of unease and regret about what she's about to do, Malcolm giving a speech that has really creepy undertones once you find out what the undertaking is, or Fire's naming that giant missile launcher after Scylla from the Odyssey, reinforcing that theme from the episode of the same name. This episode features so many small things that say a lot about each character. And in retrospect, I shouldn't even be surprised by that, because this episode was written by Jeff fucking Johns. Visuals will get a 3. I thought Oliver's fight against China White was much better than the last one, and I couldn't see the stunt double this time, which was great. But the fight itself still had so many cuts that I felt like I was watching an episode of Iron Fist. Pretty standard visuals for the season other than that, though I do think Colin Donnell's delivery of
a blood transfusion, that's insane,
is pretty funny. Importance gets a 5, with Oliver's identity reveal, the return of Deadshot, the setup with Scylla on the island, and Malcolm finding out about a possible betrayal. This episode proves that the season definitely still has more to come. And I'll give entertainment a 4. This episode is very engaging and feels even better coming after Dodger. Though I can't give it that 5th point because it does have the identity reveal stuff. That gives Dead to Rights a score of 20 out of 25. Now let's get into the next episode. After a short break in the season, Arrow returned on March 20th, 2013 with its 17th episode, The Huntress Returns, directed by Guy Norman B. Helena Bertinelli returns to Starling City looking for Oliver's help to get revenge on her father. Oliver is forced to help her, or at least keep her out of prison, lest his identity be exposed to the world.
Hey, mister. You feel like a dance?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's kinda there in some art. It's also the same symbol that was on her pendant thing that her dead fiance gave her. Which, yes, I did just realize in editing. Sue me.
Helena.
I'm looking for my father.
I'd tell you where the FBI's keeping Frank, but after your father and I made his plea deal to testify, the feds, they stopped telling me anything.
Ooh, it's a remix of the Arrow theme. And then it leads into the dun 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 dun. Oh, wait, is the club finished? Yo, the club is finished!
Right there.
What? How did you get Steve Aoki?
I dated his sister.
What are you doing here? Why are you here?
I'm here because I believe Sarah's still alive. Oliver was found on an island called Lianyu in the North China Sea. There are hundreds, thousands of deserted islands in this chain.
So you don't actually have any proof that she's alive?
I have proof. A tourist took this.
Could be anybody.
Doesn't it look just like Sarah?
No.
Didn't know purse snatchers took coffee breaks.
You know, for a stuck-up rich bitch, you seem to spend a lot of time here in the Glades.
Sheesh.
You have a job.
Yeah. You know, you should try it sometime.
No one who's hiring high school dropouts with a couple of priors, no references in history of violence.
You know that new club opening in the Glades? Verdant? My brother owns it.
Why Thea sees the best in Roy, I have no idea.
The police report lists the stiff's name as Gus Sabatoni.
Bertinelli's lawyer. Why would you come back to Starling City just for him? It's not like he did a good job.
Look who's back. She was just telling me about your guys' first date. Oh, Ollie, I kind of have this pseudo-friend that's looking for a job. I was wondering if the club's still hiring?
Yes, of course. Talk to Tommy. As a matter of fact, you can go upstairs and call Tommy right now.
Great.
Thought you were done with your father's organization, Helena, because he's serving consecutive life sentences in Iron Heights prison.
He just cut a deal with the Justice Department to testify against the East Coast family. I can't take on a phalanx of U.S. Marshals, not without help.
No.
Yes, Oliver, put your foot down.
I guess I will just have to be more persuasive. Fortunately, you have a family too.
She's already so much less interesting than before.
She was in my house. She made a not-so-veiled threat. I want extra security around my mother and sister.
Way ahead of you, man.
Thank you for not saying I told you so.
Nice young.
I kept this a secret to protect the people that are closest to me.
Do you think that's what I care about? But that my feelings are hurt? You're a murderer.
Okay, yes! Tommy's not mad about the wrong thing! I have to rewrite my entire plot and characterization, not really, part of it. Part of my plot and characterization section for Dead to Rights now, and it's gonna be so great.
I can explain to you how and why.
What would be the point? I wouldn't believe a word of it anyway.
That's a little petty, but at least he's not whining. Oh, that's a great establishing shot of Lianyu, but at least he's not whining. Oh, that looks real, dude.
Guess he's planning on blowing something up.
Well, one of those could do that job. But this is about starting a war.
With who?
Does it matter?
There are a ton of soldiers down there. Even if we get through all of them, we can't just steal a whole missile launcher.
That's convenient.
About stealing it.
But what would it hurt to take a look at everything that Mom found? Even if it's just to set her straight.
So the dumbass you were just watching went on a 4 to 5 minute rant about why he thinks this is better than what the Flash did during Armageddon with the argument between Iris and Cecile. So I've decided to completely ignore everything he said because he's a dumbass and talks in circles during the recording, and I'm going to give you guys a real explanation. The reason we don't side with Cecile in Flash Season 8 is that we as the audience know that Joe's not dead, as Joe is too major of a character to the CW Flash mythos to be killed off screen. I, like you, would probably react like Quentin and Cecile if someone said that something I'd made peace with didn't happen, but as an audience member, we've had no evidence presented up until this moment that said that Sarah had any chance of surviving what happened to the Queen's Gambit. And the first evidence we get is stuff that's incredibly circumstantial, and a photo that just doesn't look like either of the actresses that played Sarah. I'm sorry, but their jawlines just don't match up. Hell, it was even confirmed that Sarah's existence in Season 1 was only intended as a plot device to cause tension between Oliver and Laurel, which implies that they would never bring this character back under any circumstances because they just didn't care. And the fact that Cecile's a pointless character the Flash writers have been shoving down our throats for 2 whole seasons at this point doesn't help either. Over the course of Season 8 alone, she inserts herself into multiple situations that don't involve her, uses her mind-reading powers on Team Flash without their consent several times, while grandstanding about how she can't do that with a client, exposing her own hypocrisy, and serves absolutely no narrative purpose until the finale turns her into a literal plot device. Compare that to Quentin, who's shown that he just wants to keep the one daughter he has left safe at all costs, and which one do you think the audience is going to sympathize with more? And yes, that is actually Steve Aoki. This article is from sheknows.com. The hardest thing for me, I have one regret. There's one movie they asked me to do a DJ scene and couldn't switch my schedule, and that was Tropic Thunder. I can't make that mistake again. So yeah, he was actually a fan of the show. It's just cool that they can, like, that the CW was, at one time, at a point where they could do stuff like this, because this is cool.
Hey, Tommy.
Ah,
Remember
shit.
They said it was urgent. Let him go. He has nothing to do with this.
My father is a mobster and a murderer. It is not like you haven't killed men like that before.
And I tried to teach you to obtain your objective without killing.
By applying leverage.
Okay. You win. I'll help you. Let him go. Don't say it.
Okay. She's a stone cold killer, Oliver.
She's not evil.
I mean, no, she's just crazy.
I can't kill her. And I can't take her to the police and risk her exposing all of this. But at least if I'm involved, I can contain her, all right? I can minimize the collateral damage. I haven't been able to locate the safe house where the FBI is keeping your father.
I can help with that. I've been dying to hack into the FBI's security system.
Get out. Get out.
Get out, he's
Private thing.
immediately.
Please.
What we do know is that the Marshal Service is taking your father to a hearing at the Justice Department tonight. There are 2 vans. And one of them's a decoy.
I found an intruder while I was circling the perimeter. It's Wilson. You killed a few of my friends, you son of a bitch.
And I'm gonna kill a few more.
That was clever.
How was the rest first day?
Kid never showed.
I know something's up. Why won't you tell me what's going on?
Because I can't.
Why not? My mother shows up saying my dead sister is still alive, and my father is furious with me that I'm even listening to her, and I don't know who to believe.
Well, I'm still here for you.
No, you're not. You're a million miles away, and the worst part is, I don't even know why.
You didn't show up for the job I got you.
Yeah, I had second thoughts about parking your brother's Bentley.
What, being a valet is beneath you?
No, but accepting charity from some rich girl is.
Yo, can you help me out? I think I'm lost. Where's downtown at?
I don't know.
Maybe you can give us some directions. Or better yet, some money.
Oh, that was super cool!
You okay?
You're bleeding!
Yeah, that's what happens when you get stabbed.
Just your father. Anyone else gets hurt and I'll put an arrow in you.
This is the one... No, that's too far. That's too far. I would say this is the one person I'd condone Oliver killing, but, would I? It's not like Oliver hasn't killed people. I've documented it. Why Oliver can't just kill this crazy person, I have no idea. I gave the writers credit for making her a dark reflection-esque character of Oliver the first time around. And maybe I will find something like that in editing this time. But thus far, she has just gone straight off the deep end. Why isn't Oliver wearing the face paint? Also, since when can Oliver's fletchings explode?
You have the right to remain silent.
Damn it. You are quite the hunter, Miss Bertinelli.
Hunter.
Well, I guess I should make that Huntress.
We got you, but the vigilante got away before ESU could move on him. You know who he is.
Oliver Queen. You're dating him now, right?
We want to know about the Hood, not Oliver Queen.
Oliver has a particular talent. He uses people. He used me. He used the detective here's daughter. Excuse me. Daughters.
And see, the reason that they don't buy this is because in Damaged, Oliver already proved his innocence. Why doesn't Oliver let her get arrested? Think about that for a second. Oliver calls up Lance at the top of the episode, says, "Yo, my dumb ex is back in town, and she's gunning for her father. Let's set a trap for her." And then let her go to jail. Because they've already proven that Oliver's not the vigilante. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a plot hole. Look, all I'm saying is Oliver already thought of this.
His name?
The Hood.
And even then, she was playing with him.
Freeze!
Knockout dart. Oliver could have killed him. Didn't. Because it wasn't necessary.
Nothing, I just don't see why I need a shot.
Oh, don't tell me a tough gangbanger like yourself's afraid of a tiny little needle.
It doesn't look so tiny.
I hate needles too, but... I'm only looking at half the screen right now. Because I really don't like needles. See, for some reason, Thea just gets better whenever Roy's on screen. Because you get to see a completely different side of her. A side of her that legitimately gives a crap about human life. And people less fortunate than herself. And sure, maybe that's because she's working with Laurel at CNRI, but you'll really notice it when she's in scenes with Roy. In the beginning of the season, she's not like that. She only ever really shows concern for Oliver because he seems lonely. When she's with Roy, she actually gives a crap about other people, which is a good thing. Holy fuck, is this Thea's best episode?
I couldn't risk you telling the police about me.
Is that the only reason?
Yeah.
The police know you're tracking your father, Helena. You'll never find him. So get out of my city.
Or, you know, kill her. Come on, Oliver. You want to and you like it, so go on, kill her.
60 seconds out from the launcher.
Set your final charges and we'll blow it.
I think I have a better idea.
What are you doing?
I'm taking the circuit board. Computers won't work without them, and neither will this.
Leverage.
Oh my god, are they... I didn't think they played this song here. I knew they played this song somewhere, but I have to cut the audio.
Watch your back.
Hi. I don't think we had a chance to be properly introduced this morning.
She wanted the address of the safe house where her father's being kept. Should maybe hack the FBI database.
Oliver, what are you gonna do?
I should have done in the first place.
Finally! And here she's now killed multiple law officials. Law officers. Multiples. Oh, her crossbow bolt is still sticking out of his bow, and now she has a shotgun. Yeah, they could not get the actor back.
This is Hall. I'm on site.
Wait for backup, detective. That's an order.
You won't shoot me. You're not a murderer.
But you are.
I practiced that move. I had a feeling I might need it someday.
Okay, shoot her again! Fletching! Something!
Enough!
Do it!
Freeze!
No!
In this circumstance, I'll let them get away with letting Helena get away. That blood is on your hands, Oliver, and I hope you feel stupid. I mean, McKenna's alive, but all those other cops aren't.
I met your doctor. He's a nice guy. He says you're lucky to be alive.
He also said I have a shattered femur, and it's gonna take at least a year to rehab. I'm moving to Coast City to live with my sister. They have the best physical therapy facility in the country there.
You asked to see me.
I'm ready to listen now.
I just couldn't understand how you could keep such a huge secret from me. But I never considered the toll it must take on you.
I was wrong to think that I could have it both ways. That I could do what I do and still have a normal life.
Except if you're alone, you're never gonna be happy.
But me being happy isn't what's important right now.
Damn. That's a character beat.
Fires.
Mr. Queen, I thought I might be hearing from you. My men are scouring the island for you as we speak.
If your men kill us, then you'll never find the circuit board. And after that, we both know that all you'll be left with is a really ugly piece of modern art.
And what do you propose?
The trade. I want a way off the island.
That was a lot worse than Helena's first handful of episodes. Like, a lot worse. I'm giving the plot a 1. The scene where Quentin and McKenna interrogate Helena completely breaks the episode, since it spells out to the audience that Helena isn't going to give up Oliver's secret identity. The episode's major conflict is that Oliver can't kill Helena because he still cares about her, somehow, for some reason, but he can't let her get arrested because she'll give up his identity. Not only does she not do that when she's given the golden opportunity to, choosing to instead toy with Quentin and McKenna, but even if we assume she was being fully serious when she told them Oliver was the Hood, that wouldn't matter too much since Oliver thought ahead and already proved his own innocence in Damaged. Based on this scene alone, this episode should not be a thing. If you had told me the police set Helena up and captured her off-screen, I'd be sad that we missed seeing that since I'm not the biggest fan of major off-screen developments, but if it meant we didn't get this episode, I'd consider it a blessing. Also, Helena can catch arrows now. She said that she'd been practicing, but how? She doesn't use a bow herself, so where'd she go to practice that? Make it make sense! The stuff with Laurel's mom showing up and proclaiming that Sarah's alive was fine, I guess. I can understand that she's probably still grieving, but that picture very clearly looks nothing like either of the actresses that played Sarah. And as for the stuff on the island, now that I know Scylla is supposed to be used to shoot China White out of the sky, and since it's leading towards taking fires out for good, it does have more weight to it and serves as a welcome breather between the garbage with Helena. And I'll admit, using Slade as bait to get those guys out in the open was pretty cool. I was gonna give characterization a 1 because of everything relating to Oliver and Helena, but the side characters do enough to bump it up to a 2. The thing that sets Arrowverse Oliver Queen apart from Batman is that Oliver does kill people, but he doesn't want to. At least until Season 5 retcons that. There's a reason I reference it basically every video, okay? Oliver kills when his life is in danger or when the lives of others are in danger. AKA, Oliver kills when it's necessary. And don't cue the unnecessary kill montage, okay? I'm trying to make a point here. So when Oliver refuses to put an arrow in Helena after she's proven that she won't change, we go right back to the same issues that I had with him in Muse of Fire and Vendetta. The thing is that in those episodes, we had the excuse of Oliver being alone and feeling that, like the universe owed him one, his words, not mine. But he seems genuinely happy in this episode. He's moved on, he's got a real girlfriend now, his nightclub just opened. He has no reason to give a shit about his crazy murderous ex anymore. But he does because the plot says so. Keeping her alive would literally only make this harder for him. And again, it's not like Oliver hasn't killed before. If the story of Arrow's first season was that Oliver Queen has never killed anyone on purpose before, like the flashbacks tell us, and Helena was the main villain and love interest that tested Oliver's patience over and over and over again until he was forced to kill her, there wouldn't be a problem because that arc would feel natural. But this episode just basically uses Helena as a giant flashing neon sign that says, "Shoot me," and the writers never give a legitimate reason why Oliver can't. Then again, Oliver wouldn't kill Vertigo either, but for a completely different reason. Oliver didn't kill Vertigo because the cops would open fire on him if he did, and it would also prove Lance right. Here, though, I think even Lance would admit that Oliver would be doing the world a favor taking Helena off the table. So to everyone out there that still supports the Season 5 retcon, answer me why Oliver didn't fucking kill Helena. If you can do that, I will fully accept that retcon in Season 5 that only exists for the Season 5 storyline and never anywhere else in the series. And Helena's not treated much better in this episode either. You could make the argument that her revenge against her father is justified in her first appearances, but the reason for that was because her revenge was contained to just her family business. But once she starts killing good people or people who practice law like cops, that's the point where we have to admit that she's past the point of no return. What was once an interesting dark reflection of our main protagonist has had all the nuance drained out of her for what equates to a filler episode. The episode will get points, however, for Thea and Roy. This is probably Thea's best episode yet, and yes, I do say that every video, and Roy's characterization, while basic, is effective. He's a bit of a jaded asshole, but when someone's in danger, he's gonna put himself in the line of fire to save them. Roy's a good person at heart, and that's a good thing for the character. I also like that Roy's afraid of needles. It's very simple, but it makes him a lot more relatable. I'll give them a couple extra points as well for making the Oliver-McKenna relationship mutually supportive, especially in this episode. It just sucks that we will basically never see that kind of relationship on this show again, and maybe only like one other time in the entire Arrowverse. 3 other times. I forgot about Lois and Clark and Sarah and Ava. And while Tommy does spend some of the episode pouting, I wouldn't say he's doing it for no reason, and he refuses to fall victim to one of the CW's favorite Arrowverse-isms. Visuals will get a 2, the shootout sequence with Helena is kinda cool, and seeing Thea and Roy together is great, but the rest of the episode doesn't do much to stand out. Typically that wouldn't be a problem, but we're 17 episodes in at this point. And there's only so many times Oliver can punch someone or shoot an arrow at someone. The sequences that come to mind when I think of standout visuals that don't include the Odyssey are Honor Thy Father, Vertigo, and Betrayal, because those episodes have long, extended sequences of Oliver taking out a bunch of guys. Those sequences are very kinetic in a way that's hard to do when Oliver fights just one guy. And while, yeah, it would get boring for Oliver to fight a bunch of guys at once all the time, those sequences are more impressive because we get episodes and fights like this. Importance gets a 3 because it takes McKenna off the table and it introduces Laurel's mom, as well as featuring a quasi-reconciliation between Oliver and Tommy, and the beginning of Thea and Roy's relationship. But Helena ends up in basically the same place she was already at the end of Vendetta, and her final appearance in Season 2 gives her basically this exact same episode again. Only I remember that one being slightly more enjoyable. And speaking of enjoyable, I'm gonna give entertainment a 1. I did not like this episode. That gives The Huntress Returns a score of 9 out of 25, and wow, did I really score an episode that low already? It's hard to imagine after I kinda like Helena's first 2 episodes now, but if last video had Arrow's best episode yet in the Odyssey, I guess it's only fitting the immediately following video has the worst one yet. Let's get into the wrap-up. In Dodger, while Thea's on call with the used clothing store, and again with Laurel, she's holding her phone in her right hand. But when you cut down to the paper she wrote Roy's name on, the pen is also clearly in her right hand. The thumb is a dead giveaway. It's weird to point out because there was clearly so much detail put into the Odyssey, and it kind of shows that the same detail wasn't put in here. Then again, when Roy first grabs Thea's purse, you can see Thea throw her hot dog at him, and the tinfoil is still floating in the air in the next cut, so I might be wrong about them not giving a crap when it came to this episode, who really knows? Also, if you listen closely at some points during the episode, you'll notice that they added some groans during a few scenes in post during Dodger. Listen to these scenes closely, then watch Stephen Amell's mouth move out of sync with what they added.
It's infected.
You have a thing for her?
Yes.
I'm not going crazy, right? Like, I'm not the only one that can hear that. And yet another oddity in the episode, when Moira and Frank are talking in the middle of the episode, you can pretty clearly hear Moira's thank you is a reused audio clip from Legacies. Listen to the two back to back.
Thank you for this. There's one more thing I need you to do for me. That is a great burger. Thank you for this.
Anytime.
Thank you for this. Thank you for this.
But anyway, that is it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you can join us as soon as freaking possible. And while I'm plugging everything else, be sure to click the bell so that you get notified whenever we upload one of these crappy videos. But apart from that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. This is Demigod Shmurda. Edge!